I've started up my pork bouillon, and I think that's looking good. I'm going to poach my fish in there. One by one, I start poaching them so that I make sure I don't overcook them and that they're all given enough attention.
What have we got on the go?
So this is going to be my actual soup.
Yeah. And what's in the rest of the pot?
The red tomato, I'm just trying to fry off so it gets cooking because I want that colour. I'm not exactly sure how to get the colour.
And what's in here?
This is my pork bouillon that I'm using to poach my seafood. This one has the more fishy taste. Maybe I would add this over here.
I'll let you get on with it.
Okay.
Just make sure you don't lose
The flavour.
the flavour of what's in here.
Yes. Yes, chef.
The thing with cooking all the seafood is that they have varying cooking times, and I decided to cook them in phases.
Only 20 minutes remaining. Trust your instincts. Remember what you tasted earlier on.
I'm anxious, don't want to miss anything, especially because I already have an ingredient missing.
Timmy, how do you feel about this challenge?
I need to do something good for myself. Haven't had much good going since I got here, and I need to get something going for myself.
Do you cook seafood a lot?
No.
No?
The last time I ate seafood was when I was 7 years old, and I had a bone stuck down my throat, and I hated seafood ever since.
But you gave us such a beautiful dish in the hot editions.
We've got 5 minutes left. There is an apron at stake here. For one of you, this is your last day in the MasterChef kitchen. Let's get a move on.
Come on, guys. Come on. Push, push.
Yes, that's cooked.
I'm plating my dish, and I decide to not plate the calamari because I just genuinely forgot that it was in my stock. Rather than just putting it on because the element has to be there, I think it would irritate or aggravate the judges. So no one likes eating an eraser.
60 seconds remaining. 60 seconds. That is it. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop cooking.
I'm assuming that you've cooked all of this sort of seafood before. This is not a new dish for you.
No.
Not?
I've never cooked calamari before. I've never cooked mussels before. I've never cooked prawns before. I've never cooked crayfish before.
Wow.
It's quite difficult to make a dish not according to your taste, but according to what you have tasted. It's really challenging. This was a very difficult challenge. So.
Okay, fellas, should we taste?
Moment of truth.
It comes as a surprise when you tell me that you've never actually done this before in terms of working with seafood. It's light, it's full of flavor, it's got the right balance, and the seafood is cooked perfectly. So thank you. Well done.
There's a beautiful depth of flavour to this. It's delicious. It tastes of the fish that's been cooked in it. Is it exactly the same? I'm not sure. I have an inkling it's better. But is that what we're after?
Tough challenge again today.
Very tough. I'm pleased with myself. I still told myself that if I can get the broth as close to where it should be, hopefully that should be good enough to convince all of you that I am willing and want to work with this.
Benny?
Tumi, I was very annoyed with you during the Mystery Box Challenge because I felt that after you'd had a bit of a scare from the first elimination round that we'd see you really pull finger and you kind of took a very bad version of a safe route. Today, watched you work like a man possessed. And it was great to see you throw everything into this dish. You can taste that you've put your heart and soul into this. It makes a difference to the food. The crayfish is spot on. The mussels are just right, plump. They're not overcooked. And there's a richness to this broth that I find delightful.
Thank you.
For a man that doesn't prepare seafood, that seafood was cooked perfectly. Then onto the broth. What I liked about it, you were tasting as you went through. And that's what you're supposed to do as a chef, is constant tasting. Getting those flavors and referring back to what it should be. You're stuck in the moment. And that's superb. So well done to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I get that essential flavor that you get from a bouillabaisse. Correct seasoning, the color is there. Whether it's exactly the same as the one that you tasted, that remains to be seen.
Thanks.
Celine, how did you feel about today's challenge?
Once you start tasting the thing you're making, you start forgetting what it is that you tasted. So I tried initially to add the flavors that I could taste, and then as I went on, I guess I adjusted it to myself. So standing here, I'm 50-50 at the moment.
Let's give it a taste and see what the story is.
Celine, when I initially took that first mouthful of that broth, it was quite pungent and very strong and intense. I did like it. I think it was full of flavour. But was it what we set out to do today?
Obviously, the broth has to be a bit stronger to counteract that blandness of the seafood, and this just comes together. I can get those flavors coming through, and everything just matches. So well done for that.
The colour of the broth is not as rich looking,
Yeah.
but it's certainly as rich tasting. And the appearance of the broth is not as important as the taste and the depth. And I think from a taste and a depth point of view, we've done an excellent job.
The person that did not successfully replicate our classic Bouillabaisse and leaving the MasterChef kitchen is